Hey guys, it's Taylor, and I just created this new tag. It's the Star Trek book tag. If you, I don't know if you've seen the new Star Trek movie, Star Trek Beyond, but I did. I actually saw it a day early, and I loved it. It was so amazing. The feels, and yes, I did cry when the dedication to Leonard Nimoy and Anton Yelchin happened. Oh, rest in peace. I hope they make more movies, but I also can't imagine a Star Trek movie without Anton Yelchin as Chekov. He's really grown from the first movie to the last movie, even though he hasn't gotten a lot of screen time. But yeah, so since the movie was so great, I decided to go ahead and create this original tag. And so I came up with some questions based off of the characters, and we are going to do that right now. So our first question has to do with Captain Kirk. Name a character that is a natural leader. So this one was a bit hard. There are a lot of characters in books that are just natural leaders, and I had to make some very tough decisions, but eventually I went with Sharzad from the Wrath and the Dawn duology by Renee Ahdieh. So when I first read this book, I wasn't too taken away by Sharzad, but as the books progressed from this book to the second book, I realized that she is very much a natural leader. She's strong-willed, she's powerful, she knows that you don't always have to pick up a sword and fight to solve conflicts. You can do that by talking and trying to understand other people. However, she is definitely not afraid to pick up her bow and arrow and enter a fight. The second question has to do with Mr. Spock. This one, I decided to name a character that is way too serious. So for that one, I'm going to have to go with Ling Chan from the Diviners series, specifically Lair of Dreams by Libba Bray. She's a very serious character. She's very enamored with science and logic and trying to figure out, discover the meanings of the universe with all of these new scientific discoveries coming out in the 1920s. And she is very serious, and part of that has to do with her childhood injury. She can't really use her legs too well. She wasn't allowed to take part in a lot of the activities that were popular during the flapper era. She retreats to her books and her studies and her logic. So that's also kind of why I really like her her friendship with Henry Dubois, because she takes everything too seriously and he takes absolutely nothing seriously. And that dynamic really drove the book straight into my heart. The next challenge is Lieutenant Uhura. Name a female character that is in a position of power and respect. So for that one, I'm going to have to go with Selena Sardathian from the Throne of Glass series. I'm not going to spoil anything too much, but I am going to say she is very much in a position of power. She is very much respected and very much feared, and I like her all the better for it. Let's go. Women in power. Dr. McCoy / Bones, a character that is super salty. For this one, I'm going to have to go with most of the characters from the Diviner series, specifically Lair of Dreams. I recently finished it, if you hadn't noticed, and it's great, but there is a lot of salt in this book. I need to get my sodium levels checked, because everyone was just super salty and super sarcastic, and I loved every minute of it. Their snappy dialogue was just so fast-paced that it was really funny every time someone would just say something super sarcastic, and then someone else would say something sarcastic back, and I was like, whoa guys, I didn't ask for salt with my meal. That was awkward. Scotty, name a character that is handy and or can fix anything. For that one, I'm going to have to go with Cinder from the Lunar Chronicles by Marissa Meyer. I don't know if I really have to say much more. She's a mechanic. She's a great mechanic. She could probably fix anything, and that's why I chose her. I would definitely want her on my starship with me. Chekov, name a character that is way too adorable. For that one, I'm going to have to go with Grover from Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Lightning Thief. I haven't read any of the other books in the series, so I don't know how his character develops, but as for the first one, he was so adorable. He was just like a little baby, and I wanted him to be protected and to be safe, just like I did with Chekov. Sulu, a character that is not afraid to take charge when they need to. For this one, I'm going to have to go with Hermione Granger from the Harry Potter series. Yes, we all know Harry is the main character and supposed to be the leader, but come on, we all know who is really running the show. Hermione. Because she was so smart, she always did the research, she was also really brave, especially in the 7th book when they're off camping. Not for fun, it's not a fun camping trip, but when they're off looking for Horcruxes? Why can't I speak today? When they're off looking for Horcruxes, she's the one who packed a bag full of almost anything they might need and is doing a lot of the research. I think if Harry wasn't around, Hermione probably could have taken down Voldemort herself. Next, we've got Klingons. Name the most intimidating villain you've ever read about. I think this one's pretty obvious. Voldemort and his Death Eaters from the Harry Potter series. Yeah, these guys are scary. And not just because, they've got magic and, Voldemort is just so evil, but also because you do find regimes like this in the real world with Stalin and Hitler. So even though obviously they didn't have magic, you do see a lot of the mentality and the racism and the brutality that existed during their reign, so to speak. Also, the fact that Voldemort just has no love and no compassion and cannot really sympathize with other people adds to the fact that he is a terrifying villain, because he cannot go, well, this hurts someone, maybe I shouldn't do it. And it's because he doesn't have that sort of empathy. It makes him so terrifying, because there's really no getting around convincing him not to kill you or hurt your family or hurt others. And that's why the only way he can be defeated is by Harry, someone who's, so to speak, his equal in magic, almost. Harry's not the brightest, but he is powerful. Next, we've got the Starship Enterprise. Name a book with the best group dynamic. And for that one, I went with Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. I don't think I need to say more, but I will. This group dynamic, I love all of them. They are all so precious. They are my children, and I must look after them. Except for Matthias, who I actually have a huge crush on. But yeah, you see a lot of the interworking friendships between these groups. Of course, you do have the romantic attachments, but you also have the friendships regardless of that. Nina and Inej, Jesper and Kaz. You see all of these little friendships, and especially since they're in a dangerous situation and they still manage to have a sense of humor about everything. It's really nice to see. It's refreshing. I would like to see them on the Starship Enterprise with me. And finally, Starfleet. Name a world you discovered through books. So I think this should be obvious again, but the favorite world I've discovered through books is obviously Harry Potter. Oh gosh, this was one of the first full-on fantasy worlds that I wanted to live in. I wanted to get my Hogwarts letter, I wanted to pick up my Wanted Ollivanders, I wanted to get sorted. Hufflepuff Pride. I wanted to get sorted. I just wanted to live in this world. Maybe without the Wizarding War, but I wanted to go to Charms class and Potions class and Defense Against the Dark Arts. It's such an amazing world, and I know that even today adults are still waiting on their Hogwarts letter. Mine is like 9 years late. I'm still waiting. Come on, guys. Come on. Don't hold out on me, Hogwarts. Yeah, this is probably the favorite world I've discovered through books. It's always a nice place to retreat when the world seems too real and too grim, because at least in the Harry Potter world, good triumphs over evil in the end. And that's my Star Trek book tag. I hope you all liked it, and I'm not going to tag anyone specific for this tag because I want everyone to do it, and that means everyone. If you're a full-on Trekkie, if you're just a casual fan, if you've never heard of Star Trek until today, do this tag. I absolutely encourage everyone to do this tag if they want to. And I will also put the questions down below in the writing area. And please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me what you thought of Star Trek Beyond down in the comments below. Thank you so much, everyone, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!